the Winner Circle Sports Talk Show hosted by NEVIDEO Entertainment.
My favorite player throws the alley-oop. Got cameras everywhere.
All right. Welcome to the Winner Circle Sports Cypher Show. I'm your host, the main event. I'm here with my man,
Reggie Hatchett,
Devin Reale,
Trey Johnson.
The show is about highlighting sports, local talent, also some of our favorite things that we like to discuss. Today we're going to talk about Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao. We're going to touch on A-Rod's history, and we're going to cover the NBA playoffs. Stay tuned. Our first topic coming up soon. We'll jump right into it.
The Winner Circle Sports Talk Show.
Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, one of the biggest fights ever in boxing history. Also one of the iconic sports events of the century, people say. There's a lot of different reasons why this fight is so special between Floyd and Manny. For the simple fact that you have the number one and the number two fighters in history going head to head. So I just want to talk about a little bit, why do you feel this is so important for sports in general?
Well, it's big for sports in general because the mere fact that everybody's been waiting for this fight for a long time. Me, myself, I've been waiting for this fight for a long time since maybe Hagler-Hearns fight, or you can even say Sugar Ray Leonard's Marvin Hagler fight. So at the end of the day, I want to see what these two fighters bring to the table. I want to see how their skills either combine or dismatch. So that's what I want to see.
I think it's very exciting. You know, you see a lot of younger generations as well watching the boxing now, and I think it's important for young kids to realize that, you know, it's a big sport. You know, Manny Pacquiao fighting for his country in the Philippines, Floyd Mayweather, you know, trying to, you know, keep his title up and get the his undefeated record and continuing with that. But I wanna touch upon, do you guys think that, you know, this with this fight, how important was it now compared to maybe if they fought years ago?
So Reggie, touch on that for me.
well, I do believe that the fight is maybe like 4 years too late. It's still going to be, you know, massive as far as the amount of attention that it gets. Every once in a while, you'll have a sporting event that transcends even the fans of that sport. Like, there are grandmothers who don't know anything about boxing that know that these guys are fighting this weekend. So that's, whenever you have an event like that, then obviously for money reasons, for entertainment purposes, you've got to make it happen. But I do believe that Manny Pacquiao is on the downside of his career. I think Floyd knows that. I think Floyd understands that fighting him 4 or 5 years ago would have been much more dangerous than fighting him now. I still believe that, you know, Floyd is a technician in the ring. He's probably the greatest defensive boxer I've ever seen. You know, some people say he's one of the greatest defensive boxers ever. So it'll still be an interesting fight. But Pacquiao is still very, very dangerous, even though he's on the downside of his career. I still believe that this is the most dangerous fighter that Floyd has faced.
You said Floyd's a defensive specialist, but he switched to the Reyes punching gloves for this fight, right? So what that means, it looks like, you know, based on the standoff yesterday, what's your thoughts about that?
The standoff yesterday really showed, how bigger Floyd is to Manny. The reach advantage is going to be, I believe, 74 to 67. So if Mayweather is able to keep his effectiveness with using his jab as much as possible, I think everything is going to play out from that point on. Pacquiao's going to have to actually dive in, use movement, jump in to actually get Floyd. And Floyd is too, like Reggie said, he's a technician. He knows exactly what he has to do. He's going to move his feet as much as he has to. And I believe after the second or third round, he's just going to start walking Pacquiao down.
Really? 55% of the country on Twitter says that Manny's going to win.
And it makes it interesting because, you know, Manny Pacquiao was born in the Philippines, Mayweather obviously from the United States. So it makes you wonder why, you know, what the difference between that is. Why America is going towards Pacquiao rather than Floyd Mayweather. I'm kind of curious to see if it goes, you know, the whole fight, or if somebody possibly may get knocked out. I'm kind of curious about that.
I want to address both of those points right there. I think that, honestly, the United States, we're a nation of haters.
Right.
And even though, like, when somebody is really excellent at something, you'll have more people who say, I can't wait to the day when they get that smile knocked off their face. You know what I mean? Like, people want to see that. Even somebody that don't even understand boxing or whatever, just like, they know that Mayweather talk a lot, he's got a lot of money, he's brash, and you know what? I want to see somebody knock him out. So Manny Pacquiao represents that, you know, person that presents the best chance for that to happen. So that's why I think people are kind of like siding with Pacquiao. But also, Pacquiao has been a smaller fighter, to address Trey's point. He's been a smaller fighter, maybe 10 different fights in his life that he won. So I think that, yes, you know, when you look at the size difference, it's like, it's kind of, well, I didn't realize that Floyd was that much bigger than Pacquiao, or that he had that much more reach than Pacquiao. However, Manny's been in that situation with a number of fighters where, you know, Manny takes risks. Right. And that's the risk finally caught up to him in that last fight where he got knocked out, but against Marquez. Right. But, you know, he's gambled a bunch of times and won. So I think that you see contrasting styles where, you know, like Floyd's going to stand there like, okay, come get me. And Pacquiao is just the type of person that's going to engage him and throw a lot of punches. We've seen Manny, this is the reason why Floyd was saying that this guy got to be on something, because no other fighter of this era is throwing 100 punches in round 12. Yeah, like Manny Pacquiao is, you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's a big thing that came out with the stats, is that Floyd Mayweather throws the least amount of punches.
39 punches a round. Right. To 66. Yeah, that definitely does equate to the equation where we all have question marks about that.
So let's talk then.
You know, that steroids, I mean, we could be honest, that steroids will do, you know, give this person superhuman strength. You know, so with the speed, the power, everything. He hasn't knocked anybody else, I believe, since 2009.
Correct.
Yeah. So even though he's been put up against a whole bunch of, I don't like to say bums, but Floyd's a different monster. He's going up against pound for pound the best for 16 plus years. So at the end of the day, we have to definitely see whether or not he's going to have this killer instinct that he's been talking about, which I don't think is going to even equate to this boxing match.
So you think the fight's going to go to distance?
I personally don't believe so. I would hope that, you know, we get a great fight. Of,
money's
you know,
worth.
Right, but I personally don't believe so. And this is the thing about Floyd that people don't understand. Like, Floyd talks a great deal and is brash, and usually people who talk a lot, like, try to take shortcuts. You know what I mean? Floyd is different in that, because he's allowed us access to see his training. He works harder than anybody. You know what I mean? Like, so he's a dude that he may talk and be brash and be boastful, but he also was up at 3 o'clock in the morning running 10 miles. Like, you know what I'm saying? You see this, so it's like, I put the work in, I deserve the right to speak what I'm speaking because I work harder than anybody. And you've seen that manifest itself in so many different fights where, I mean, how many times have we said, okay, this is finally the time where Floyd gonna get his, and then, you know what I mean, he's destroyed the dude.
And this is definitely the time. He's definitely playing the evil villain role right now because everybody in America wants to see, and the Philippines, want to see this guy go down. They want to see that blemish on his record. Floyd right now, his motivation is that zero. We're always going to say that. He might deny it, but come on. He's almost 1 or 2 victories away from tying or beating Rocky Marciano, which is incredible because due to the mere fact that even though the competition back in the day for Rocky Marciano wasn't as prominent as it is now, this is an amazing feat. And for everybody to be watching this, I mean, MLB players, basketball players, hockey players, this is an amazing feat. And this is the mere fact that everybody wants to see this guy lose. It's a big motivation factor. So I can imagine that these pay-per-view numbers are going to be outstanding.
Devin, what do you predict for the fight?
I like to see it go distance. I think it's going to go all rounds, and I think at the end of the day, even though Manny Pacquiao, a lot of people want to see him win, I think Floyd Mayweather beats him, and I think that's it for Manny.
Here's some of the odds in Vegas. So this is what you can bet again in Vegas. You can bet Floyd or Manny will stop in a doctor's stoppage. 16-1 or 1-100, you can bet. You can also bet will either corner throw in the towel during the fight. Or will there be an official post-fight inquiry into the scoring? You can bet that. Okay. Or you can bet that there'll be a rematch next year in 2016. So. Yeah. Or you can also bet whether Floyd or Manny will, after their fight, their post-game interview, what they will mention in there. Jesus, God, his opponent, friends, family, or trainer, or the fans. You can bet that right now in Vegas and win some money. You can also bet by either knockout, go to distance. You can also bet by scoring per round. You can win money.
The one thing I've been hearing is this draw situation too.
Yeah.
If it goes into a draw, maybe that might anticipate a rematch. I don't know. the way Bob Arum and Floyd Mayweather have been interacting within these last years, I don't think that's going to happen. I think Floyd's going to walk away, win or lose, and just either obligate that last fight contract or just sail away. And
So let's touch the conspiracy theories here.
My conspiracy theory is
let's touch that.
If it goes the distance, it's going to be a draw. Or Manny is going to win. I don't believe they will allow Floyd to walk out of there with a split decision versus Manny Pacquiao. I think that if it goes the distance, because Pacquiao is obviously the busier fighter. He's going to throw more punches. And off that alone, there'll be some judges that give him rounds simply because he threw more punches and was more aggressive than Floyd Mayweather. So I think that if it goes the distance, they're going to try to force Floyd Mayweather's hand to have to have a rematch by saying that it was a draw or that he lost.
Devin, your facial expressions.
No, I agree with them.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, like I said, I think it goes the distance, and they're not gonna let Floyd Mayweather walk out of there. They're not, because how hated he is, as Reggie touched upon earlier, because so many people want to see him lose, and it's ridiculous. So I totally agree with him.
The odds in Vegas right now that the fight will end in a draw are 12-1. Right now, that it will end in a draw right now. That's the favorites right now. As this morning, that the favorites will end 12-1, that the fight will be a draw.
I went on record, a couple weeks ago when I said that I had Floyd winning a decision. But after hearing all these conspiracy theories and everything like that, I have changed my mind. I do believe Floyd wins, but a knockout either in 11 or 10.
I did say Manny was going to win in 6 the last time. I'm going to say it goes to the decision and Manny wins. I'm going with the rest of the country, the 55% that believes in Manny Pacquiao.
It's going to be an interesting fight.
Yeah, it will be.
Stay tuned. More segments, NFL, draft, NBA playoffs coming up in our next segment here, the Winner Circle Sports Cypher.
The Winner